Here are animals that can self-destruct. Number 5. Termites. Termites can be a terrible problem for homeowners and business owners alike. But this unique insect actually has an interesting self-destructive behavior. When a termite is threatened, it can rupture its own gland. This gland can then expel a very sticky substance. Because the substance is so sticky, it adheres to the termite's enemy. But the substance isn't just sticky, it's also toxic. So even if the sticky substance doesn't reach the enemy and only lands on the ground, it's still enough to dissuade the enemy from advancing. The process is called autothesis, and the sticky substance is an aliphatic compound. The termite will rupture its own gland to protect its colony. But this act of heroism comes with a devastating consequence to the hero. Termites often do not survive. They need to rupture their glands to produce the substance, and the ruptured glands are normally an injury that they do not recover from. Number 4. The grasshopper. Sometimes a grasshopper will plunge itself into the water and drown. This erratic behavior was a source of confusion for etymologists for a long time. But recent studies have found a reason for this erratic and self-destructive behavior. A parasitic hairworm called Spinochoroides tellini is the culprit. The worm works its way into land-dwelling grasshoppers. For a period of time, the worm is harmless and simply lives as a parasite on the grasshopper. But once the worm matures, it transforms into an aquatic adult, which means that it needs to live in the water. So it chemically influences the grasshopper's brain to seek out water. Somehow, the hairworm is able to manipulate the grasshopper into doing something that it would never normally do: plunge itself into the water. Once the grasshopper has taken the plunge, the hairworm releases itself from the grasshopper and swims away. Thus, a grasshopper infected by a hairworm becomes self-destructive. Number 3. Praying mantis. The praying mantis is a fascinating insect with an equally fascinating appearance. People love to look at the long, gangly green insect, and people around the world marvel at the delightful creature. However, as lovely as the praying mantis appears, it also has a rather vicious side when it comes to mating. The praying mantis is a highly self-destructive insect. When it breeds, both the male and the female die. The preying part of the praying mantis's name is well-deserved, as the insect likes to prey on mice, lizards, small birds, and tree frogs. However, during mating, the female actually preys on the male. During mating, the female praying mantis, in an aggressive act, has been known to bite off the head of her male counterpart. She does this for her own protection, as this stops the male from breeding any further. The female only does this when she has finished her part in the breeding process. From there, she devours the rest of his body for nutrition. The male then engages in self-destructive behavior to ensure the survival of the species. But the self-destruction doesn't stop there. Once the female has laid her eggs, she usually dies. So not only is the male self-destructive, the female is as well, making the pairing of a male and female praying mantis a deadly combination. Number 2. The exploding ant of Borneo. When it comes to self-destructive animals and insects, most self-destruction comes in the form of a slow deterioration process, or a willing sacrifice where the participant is consumed by a partner or family member. This is not the case with the exploding ant of Borneo, though. The exploding ant of Borneo has the most unique self-destructive behavior of any known animals or insect. The exploding ant of Borneo, or the Colobopsis explodens, as they are scientifically called, are a rare species of ants that live high in the trees. But unlike other ants, the exploding ants of Borneo do not have any venom. Therefore, they cannot protect themselves against prey by poisoning their prey. Furthermore, they also lack the powerful mandibles that other ants have, so they cannot defend themselves by biting their prey. For these reasons, the exploding ants of Borneo have developed, over time, a unique biological form of defense. Ants are programmed by nature to protect their colony. They need their colony to survive as a species. So, when their ant colony is threatened or under attack, the exploding ant of Borneo will attach itself to the enemy's back, and it will not release itself no matter how hard the predator tries to shake it. Once attached to the enemy's back, the ant will burst itself open. Using a forceful muscle action, the ant is literally able to explode itself. The explosion of the ant results in the secretion of a thick, yellowy goo-like substance. When the ant explodes, the substance is splattered all over its enemy. The substance is highly toxic and deters the predator from attacking any more of the ants. Thus, the ant self-destructs to save its colony. The ants do not blow themselves up haphazardly, though. They only engage in this self-destructive behavior as a last resort. They first try to warn their predator by lifting their hind end into the air, as if to say, "Back off or I will blow myself up." However, if the predator does not heed the warning, then the exploding ants of Borneo will follow through on their threat and they will blow themselves up, covering their predator in their self-sacrificing toxic goo. The exploding ant of Borneo is aptly named, as it is a rare and biologically unique insect that has found an unbelievable way of protecting its colony from predators. Honorable mention. Both of the self-destructing sea creatures deserve an honorable mention. The giant Pacific octopus. The giant Pacific octopus is rarely seen, as it lurks deep in the depths of the ocean. It is therefore hard to find. But another reason it is not often seen might be because the octopus is self-destructive by nature. The giant Pacific octopus is something called semilparous. A creature that is semilparous can only reproduce once. So, once the giant Pacific octopus has fulfilled its obligation to reproduce, it begins a slow self-destructive process. The male giant Pacific octopus begins to deteriorate soon after reproduction. It enters a zombie-like state, where it swims around aimlessly in the water. It's as though the octopus has fulfilled its purpose and now no longer knows what to do. This strange state causes the octopus to swim out into open waters, where it becomes vulnerable to predators. The female giant Pacific octopus, on the other hand, stops feeding immediately after she has hatched her eggs, and dies within a short time after reproduction. Because the giant Pacific octopus self-destructs after reproduction, the giant Pacific octopus is one of the rarest types of octopi in the ocean. Anglerfish. Anglerfish are an extremely rare species of fish that only live in depths so deep they are seldom seen. Because they live in the dark, males have developed a bioluminescent lure, which is scientifically known as an esca. The esca extends from its forehead and is used to attract prey, but the esca is also used during the breeding season to find females. However, once the male has found a female, it engages in one of the most bizarre forms of self-destruction in the entire animal kingdom. During mating, the male anglerfish bites into the female's body, and it doesn't let go. Over time, both the male's body tissues and his bloodstream begin to join with the tissue and bloodstream of the female. He eventually loses his internal organs, his eyes, his fins, and his teeth. He essentially merges with the female and becomes absorbed into the female system. What is left of him protrudes from the female's body, and he becomes a full-fledged parasite, unable to live separately or apart from the female that he has latched onto. This self-destructive behavior is perplexing, unusual, and more than a little bit creepy. Number 1. The honeybee. Most people are aware of the fact that a honeybee does not survive its sting. When the bee lodges its barbed stinger into the skin of its enemy, a piece of the bee's abdomen is torn away in the process. This injury has fatal consequences for the bee, and the bee does not survive. Unlike wasps, who can sting repeatedly, when a honeybee inserts its stinger into anything that has thick flesh, the barb on the end of the stinger does not allow the stinger to be removed by the bee. So, to remove itself, the bee has to exert such force that it self-destructs. But along with fatality, this self-destruction has perilous consequences. Honeybees as a species are in grave danger. Their numbers are way down, and because they die when they sting, people are being encouraged not to provoke honeybees. Awareness of the honeybee's self-destructive behavior could be crucial to their survival, which is why the honeybee has earned the top spot on this list of 10 animals that can self-destruct.